From a young age, Princess Charlotte has captivated many with her royal status and keen intellect. When she identified a clear mistake in a school test, she did what any bright student would, pointed it out. However, instead of receiving praise, she faced an unexpected consequence: suspension. Was this disciplinary action truly about the era, or did it signify something much deeper? Did she make the wrong choice by standing by the truth? On May 2, 2015, Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, welcomed their second child, a daughter they named Princess Charlotte. Just like her father Prince William and elder brother Prince George, she was born at the Linder wing of St Mary's Hospital in London. As the 8-pound, 3-ounce baby girl made her first public appearance in her mother's arms on the hospital steps, royal watchers around the world were enchanted. Charlotte's birth carried immense historical significance. Following King Charles III's coronation and Queen Elizabeth II's passing, she became the highest-ranking female in the British line of succession in modern history. She was born fourth in line to the throne, but due to the Succession to the Crown Act of 2013, which abolished the centuries-old practice of male primogeniture, no younger brother could ever replace her position. Her full name, Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, is a carefully chosen tribute to important figures in her family. Charlotte, a feminine variation of Charles, honors her grandfather, King Charles III, reinforcing the royal lineage. Elizabeth pays homage to her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, whose long reign symbolized stability, tradition, and dedication to public service. Lastly, Diana commemorates her late grandmother, Diana, Princess of Wales, who left an indelible mark on the monarchy through her humanitarian efforts and compassion. The inclusion of Diana's name serves as a touching acknowledgement of her enduring legacy and the values she stood for. While her full title is Her Royal Highness, Princess Charlotte of Wales, she is simply known as Charlotte within her immediate family and social circles. From the beginning, Princess Charlotte's upbringing has been a delicate balance between royal traditions and modern parenting. Despite intense public interest, Prince William and Princess Catherine have worked hard to provide their children with a grounded and normal childhood. Charlotte's early years have been shaped by values such as self-reliance, accountability, and discipline. Unlike previous generations of royals who were primarily raised by nannies and governesses, William and Catherine take an active role in their children's lives. Though their upbringing is infused with royal customs, they also emphasize practical life skills and personal expression. Charlotte has been raised to understand her responsibilities as a royal family member while also being taught that she is not superior to anyone. Much of this balance comes from Catherine's influence. As a strong advocate for early childhood development, Catherine ensures that Charlotte grows up in a nurturing environment that fosters emotional intelligence, learning, and physical well-being. This approach aligns with Catherine's broader royal initiatives, which focus on the significance of a child's formative years. Meanwhile, Prince William, who grew up under the intense scrutiny of royal life, has expressed his determination to shield his children from excessive public exposure while still preparing them for their future roles. He remains heavily involved in their daily routines, from school drop-offs to bedtime stories. Though public appearances are part of royal life, Charlotte's parents make an effort to create cherished family moments. Activities like cooking, museum visits, and countryside picnics offer a sense of normalcy beyond the royal gates. Despite this well-rounded upbringing, Princess Charlotte faced an unexpected school suspension. The circumstances surrounding this event remain intriguing. Was it simply about the test mistake, or was there a larger reason behind it? Before delving into this, let's explore who Princess Charlotte truly is. Even in her early years, Princess Charlotte's personality has set her apart. She possesses an independent, inquisitive, and lively spirit, coupled with an unshakable confidence. Unlike her older brother, Prince George, who is more reserved, Charlotte is bold and expressive. From enthusiastically waving to spectators during royal engagements to correcting George in public, her assertiveness has made headlines. Many compare her to her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, who was known for her strong-willed nature from childhood. Royal watchers adore Charlotte's fearlessness and her ability to command attention with her charismatic presence. Her love for gymnastics, dancing, and outdoor activities highlights her adventurous streak. Much like Queen Elizabeth II, Charlotte reportedly enjoys horseback riding, a cherished family tradition. Additionally, she seems to have inherited Princess Diana's passion for dance, showing a keen interest in ballet. Beyond her athleticism, Charlotte has demonstrated impressive academic abilities. Her sharp analytical skills and curiosity have been apparent from a young age, and these very traits ultimately led to her controversial school suspension. Among the subjects that fascinate Charlotte the most are history and languages. Her Spanish nanny, Maria Teresa Turrion Borrallo, introduced her to Spanish at the age of 4, and she quickly picked up the language, an early testament to her remarkable ability to adapt and learn swiftly. Another striking quality of Princess Charlotte is her natural leadership. Though she is the middle child between Prince George and Prince Louis, she readily takes charge when needed. Her interactions with her brothers, filled with playful yet assertive moments, make her even more endearing to the public. Her ability to stand her ground, coupled with her intellectual sharpness, played a pivotal role in the events leading up to her suspension, a moment that raised eyebrows and sparked conversations. Was Charlotte simply standing by the truth, or was her independent spirit perceived as a challenge? Stay tuned as we uncover the full story behind this surprising turn of events. Prince George and Prince Louis share an incredibly close bond with their sister, Princess Charlotte. Despite their royal status, the three siblings interact much like any other children, forming a tight-knit and affectionate trio. As the eldest, Prince George, born on July 22, 2013, carries the responsibility of protecting Charlotte, and their contrasting personalities make them a perfect match, George being the reserved and composed older brother, while Charlotte exudes boldness and confidence. However, she does not hesitate to correct him when necessary, showcasing her innate assertiveness. The youngest of the trio, Prince Louis, arrived on April 23, 2018, bringing boundless energy to the family dynamic. As the middle child, Charlotte often finds herself playing the role of peacemaker between her two brothers. She is frequently seen at royal events holding Louis's hand and keeping a watchful eye on him, demonstrating her natural inclination to mediate and nurture. Their parents, Prince William and Princess Catherine, have always prioritized fostering a strong bond between their children, ensuring that they grow up with the ability to support one another, play together, and experience a childhood that, despite their royal lineage, feels as normal as possible. While George faces the immense responsibility of one day ascending to the throne, Charlotte enjoys the freedom of being herself, sheltered by her loving family. However, many believe that her intelligence, confidence, and natural leadership abilities will make her a significant figure in the royal family's future. As she grows, she continues to captivate those around her with a perfect blend of charm and wit. Her sharp mind, self-assurance, and innate leadership distinguish her from her peers. Thanks to a combination of modern parenting techniques and traditional royal discipline, she is learning the essential qualities of a princess: grace, independence, and unwavering confidence. But what happens when these very qualities lead to an unexpected punishment? What if standing up for the truth results in an unforeseen consequence? When the royal family relocated to Windsor, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis began attending Lambrooke School in Berkshire. On that memorable day, little Louis set foot in school for the first time, dressed in his summer uniform, ready to embark on his educational journey alongside his elder siblings. Previously, George and Charlotte had attended Thomas's Battersea in London, but their transition to Lambrooke marked the beginning of a new chapter. In a heartfelt moment, the Duke of Cambridge affectionately referred to his children as the gang as he led them up the main staircase. The headmaster, Jonathan Perry, warmly welcomed the young royals with a handshake, setting the tone for their time at the esteemed institution. Lambrooke School, nestled on 52 acres of serene Berkshire countryside near the Ascot Racecourse, offers students a well-rounded education that extends beyond academics. The institution provides a wide range of extracurricular activities, including caring for animals, swimming, and even playing on a 9-hole golf course. With its stellar reputation, Lambrooke has long been a favored choice for prominent families who seek top-tier education for their children. The school's rigorous academic curriculum, coupled with its emphasis on individual growth, made it an ideal fit for the royal siblings. Many students aspire to attend Lambrooke due to its high academic standards and exceptional faculty. The school prides itself on fostering an environment of excellence where gifted students can flourish under a system that values both discipline and creativity. Behind its immaculate exterior lies a structured and disciplined approach to education, ensuring that students cultivate a strong work ethic and maintain high academic performance. Teachers at Lamrook uphold strict discipline, believing that structure and order are essential for success. Every student is expected to put forth their best effort, show respect for authority, and adhere to the school's rules. For Princess Charlotte, the transition to Lamrook was seamless. Coming from a household that values education and discipline, she naturally excelled in her new academic environment. Her passion for history and geography became evident in her performance, where she consistently displayed an exceptional ability to grasp and analyze complex concepts. Her intelligence set her apart, placing her ahead of many of her peers. Beyond academics, Charlotte's self-assured nature made her well-liked among classmates. Despite being royalty, she remained grounded, seamlessly blending in with her peers while maintaining her respect for authority. Her ability to balance assertiveness with leadership was evident. She was both a rule follower and a strong-willed advocate, characteristics that spoke to her intellectual maturity. Surprisingly, many of her schoolmates were unaware of her royal background, as she preferred to be recognized for her abilities rather than her title. On October 10, 2024, Princess Charlotte's class at Lamrook prepared for their scheduled history test, a standard part of the school curriculum designed to assess students' knowledge of significant historical figures and events. Unlike many of her classmates who might have felt nervous, Charlotte approached the test with confidence. Her natural affinity for learning, combined with thorough preparation and reinforcement from her studies at home, made her well equipped to succeed. However, what transpired next was entirely unexpected. What should have been a simple academic exercise soon turned into a moment of controversy, one that led to a surprising consequence. What exactly happened during the test that resulted in Charlotte's suspension? Was it merely about an error in the exam, or was there a deeper reason behind the school's disciplinary action? As we uncover the details, we begin to see that this incident was about more than just academics. It was about standing firm in the face of authority, a trait that would shape Charlotte's future in ways no one could have predicted. Princess Charlotte had always possessed a deep appreciation for history. The intricate web of political intrigue, the lasting influence of ancient civilizations on modern society, and the profound impact of historical events fascinated her. She typically excelled in history exams with ease, but on this particular day, she found herself unprepared for a challenge that extended beyond mere knowledge. The test before her was not just a measure of her understanding, it also posed a question about the reliability of the exam itself. As she carefully reviewed each question, answering them based on her prior studies, she encountered no difficulties at first. The initial questions covered well-known topics such as the World Wars and the French Revolution, all of which she navigated effortlessly. However, as she reached the fourth question, something felt amiss. The question addressed the causes of World War I, a subject Charlotte had extensively read about. Confident in her grasp of the material, she initially proceeded without hesitation. Yet, as she examined the provided answers, she noticed a glaring inaccuracy. One option stood out as unequivocally incorrect. She meticulously reassessed the question, ensuring she had not overlooked any details. However, it quickly became evident that the mistake was not hers, it was embedded within the test itself. The other answers offered nuanced explanations, acknowledging the multiple contributing factors to the war, whereas this particular response oversimplified a complex historical event. Charlotte was certain, it was not an oversight on her part but a factual error in the test. As time passed, she debated her next move. Could she simply ignore the mistake and continue with the exam? No, that was not an option for her. Preserving historical accuracy was more important than blindly adhering to a flawed test. She could not allow herself or her classmates to be misled by misinformation. Even after completing the rest of the exam, the error continued to gnaw at her. Sitting at her desk as the test concluded, Charlotte wrestled with her thoughts. She understood the gravity of the situation and knew she needed to act. As the test ended, the usual flurry of students gathering their belongings filled the room. The final bell rang, signaling the end of the lesson. Most students stood up, chatting as they prepared to leave, but Charlotte remained seated. The mistake in question dominated her thoughts, urging her to take action. She disliked confrontation and generally avoided drawing attention to herself, yet she recognized the need to address the issue with poise and diplomacy. If she wanted a resolution, she had to proceed with care. Blending into the crowd, she waited for an opportune moment. Once she saw her teacher glance up, she seized the chance. With a calm and respectful demeanor, Charlotte approached, her hand steady despite the anticipation swirling inside her. She had always valued the pursuit of knowledge over simply achieving good test scores, and today was no exception. Raising her hand gently, she signaled her request to speak. Accustomed to students seeking clarifications, the teacher nodded, prompting her to proceed. "Yes? Please tell me the issue," the teacher inquired. Taking a steady breath, Charlotte carefully articulated her concern. "There's a mistake in question 4, she stated, ensuring her tone was measured and polite. She paused, waiting for the teacher's reaction before elaborating further. Lambroke's history teacher was well respected for her rigorous approach to education and unwavering commitment to the curriculum. Charlotte held immense regard for her instructor but knew this was not a matter of personal opinion, it was a factual inaccuracy that needed addressing. Though she had no desire to challenge authority, she had always been taught to trust her instincts and stand by the truth. Charlotte believed this was merely a minor correction, an opportunity to refine the test to ensure historical accuracy. She did not wish to undermine her teacher's expertise but rather to prevent the spread of misinformation among her classmates. With careful reasoning, she presented her case, hoping her teacher would understand. However, the response she received took her by surprise. Rather than acknowledging her point or considering the possibility of an error, the teacher swiftly dismissed her concern. "I've reviewed the test, Charlotte, and the answer key is correct. There's nothing more to discuss," she stated firmly, without even glancing at the question in question. Charlotte felt a pang of frustration but remained composed. She understood that her teacher was adhering to the established curriculum, yet she also recognized the limitations of the exam. Throughout her upbringing, she had been encouraged to think critically and question inconsistencies, particularly in matters of historical significance. Despite her best efforts to remain neutral, she could not shake the feeling that the question lacked depth, failing to reflect the complexity of World War I's origins. Determined to make herself understood, she tried again, this time speaking more deliberately. "I understand, but the event mentioned isn't the sole reason World War I began. Shouldn't we consider all contributing factors?" Her voice remained respectful, but her resolve was unwavering. She fixed her gaze on her teacher, hoping for a moment of recognition. However, instead of openness, she saw a hardening of expression. Her teacher's brow furrowed, her jaw tightening as if she had taken personal offense. "Charlotte," she began, her voice laced with restrained irritation. "I know you're an exceptionally bright student and I appreciate your enthusiasm for history. However, it is not your place to challenge the curriculum. I am the teacher here, and I do not appreciate being told I am wrong." Charlotte's heart sank. She had not intended to challenge authority, only to ensure historical accuracy. The air between them grew tense, thick with misunderstanding. She had merely sought to clarify a discrepancy, but now it seemed as though her motives had been misinterpreted. The weight of the moment settled over her as she realized that, despite her best efforts, she might have crossed an unspoken boundary. The conflict remained unresolved, leaving Charlotte grappling with an unsettling question: had she gone too far in her pursuit of truth, or had she simply encountered an authority unwilling to admit fault? Charlotte found herself taken aback by the teacher's sharp remarks. She had anticipated a professional discussion, one where she could engage in an exchange of ideas and perhaps learn something new. Instead, she encountered only defensiveness. With a quiet yet firm voice, she attempted to diffuse the tension. "I'm just trying to ensure that we all understand the full picture," she said. But her words fell on deaf ears. "My part is done, Charlotte. There is nothing else to discuss," the teacher stated dismissively. A wave of confusion washed over Charlotte as she turned away. What had begun as a simple effort to correct an error had unexpectedly spiraled into a confrontation. Little did she know that this seemingly minor incident would set in motion events leading to her suspension from school. As she sat at her desk, staring down at the test paper in front of her, Charlotte reflected on what had just transpired. The once bustling classroom had emptied, leaving only her and the teacher in an eerie silence. The weight of the teacher's words pressed heavily upon her. Despite her respectful approach, her attempt to rectify the mistake had been misinterpreted as insubordination. She felt utterly lost, uncertain of her next move. Just then, she caught the sound of hushed voices outside the door. Her classmates had been eavesdropping. Some students knew Charlotte well enough to recognize that she was not someone who stirred trouble for the sake of it. Yet, few were aware of her royal lineage. While some admired her courage, others whispered that her actions had been daring, perhaps even reckless. The words, defiant and challenging authority, reached her ears, catching her off guard. Before she could process the implications, the door swung open. Her teacher re-entered the room, flanked by a concerned-looking headteacher. Despite being informed that the answer key was correct, Charlotte insisted on altering the test, the teacher explained, her tone clipped. Remaining seated, Charlotte listened in silence as her actions were characterized as disruptive. The headteacher regarded her with a stern expression. "I'm sorry, Charlotte, but we cannot permit students to challenge a teacher's authority during a test. It disrupts the learning environment for everyone. We must maintain order and respect the established system." A jolt of shock coursed through Charlotte. She had merely wanted to ensure the accuracy of the test, a matter of fairness, not defiance. But now, her behavior was being cast in a far more troubling light. How could she defend herself when her intentions had been so thoroughly misinterpreted? The head teacher's voice was resolute. "My decision is final, Charlotte. You will need to take a short break from school. For now, you are suspended." The word struck her like a thunderbolt. Suspension, for pointing out an error in a test? The notion seemed absurd. She struggled to process the gravity of what had just happened. As she left the classroom, a cloud of confusion and frustration weighed upon her. Had she truly done something wrong, or had others merely failed to see her intent? A realization dawned upon Charlotte. Even when one speaks with courtesy and reason, questioning an established position is not always welcomed. This was the first time she had faced such harsh consequences for standing by the truth. And yet, as a member of the royal family, she had been raised to value honesty above all else. Did her teachers even know about her heritage? The suspension sent ripples through the school community. In the days following the incident, Charlotte came to understand the true magnitude of the issue. Lamrock School prided itself on its rigorous academic standards and disciplined environment. It was unaccustomed to students questioning authority, particularly with the confidence and precision Charlotte had displayed. Her intelligence and correctness were disregarded, her insistence on truthfulness was perceived as defiance. To the administration, Charlotte's suspension served as a lesson in humility, patience, and deference to authority. But was that lesson justified? The school was unaware of Charlotte's royal status, a crucial detail in this unfolding controversy. Like many private institutions, Lamrock maintained a policy of discretion regarding its students' identities, especially those from distinguished backgrounds. As far as the administration was concerned, Charlotte was just another student. Had they known of her lineage, the outcome might have been different. To outsiders, however, she was a princess, and her suspension soon became a matter of public interest. Back at Adelaide Cottage in Windsor, Charlotte's parents, Prince William and Catherine, received the news with astonishment. They were taken aback by the severity of the punishment. However, rather than react hastily, they chose to approach the matter with patience, true to their parenting philosophy. Having endured public scrutiny themselves, William and Catherine understood that external judgment often clashed with personal values. They recognized that this experience, however frustrating, would ultimately be a valuable lesson for their daughter. They were proud of Charlotte for prioritizing historical accuracy and demonstrating intellectual maturity beyond her years. Yet, they also advised her to be more diplomatic in the future, to challenge authority only when truly necessary. Before long, news of Charlotte's suspension spread like wildfire. Given the relentless attention paid to the royal family, it was inevitable that the press would catch wind of the situation. The story dominated headlines and ignited debates across news outlets, websites, and social media. The world was watching, and the conversation had only just begun. In the aftermath of Charlotte's suspension, the media erupted with conflicting opinions. Some admired her intelligence and applauded her unwavering commitment to ensuring the accuracy of the historical test. Others, however, viewed her actions with disapproval, believing she had overstepped by challenging the test's validity. Her boldness in identifying and questioning an error in a subject of great significance earned her widespread recognition. To many, Charlotte embodied the ideal student, both intellectually gifted and courageous enough to challenge established knowledge when necessary. This group believed that suspending Charlotte was unjust and that, instead of being penalized, she should have been praised for bringing attention to the test's inaccuracy. Nevertheless, considering the school's reputation for academic excellence, criticism of her suspension was inevitable. From the school's perspective, disciplinary action was necessary to maintain order in the classroom. Regardless of the differing opinions, the widespread media coverage of Charlotte's suspension ignited debates about the role of students in questioning historical narratives, prominent figures, and widely accepted events. While schools often encourage critical thinking, this case raised concerns about whether students were truly allowed to challenge authority or if they were expected to adhere to institutional norms without question. As the news spread, Charlotte's supporters rallied behind her, celebrating her intelligence and praising her dedication to academic integrity. Many found her stance inspiring, admiring the courage of a young girl who refused to compromise on truth and justice despite the consequences. Though the incident was dramatic and initially gained traction due to her royal background, media exposure further cemented Charlotte's image as a symbol of truth and resilience. She became widely respected not just for her lineage but for her steadfast commitment to honesty. Ultimately, Princess Charlotte's suspension underscored the conflict between her intellectual curiosity and the school's unawareness of her royal status. Despite facing consequences, her determination to correct the test's error demonstrated a deep commitment to accuracy and fairness. While this event presented challenges, it also served as an invaluable learning experience. What do you think? Was the school's decision fair? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content. We'll see you in the next video.